Yo, it's your boy King Jeezy Hip Hop Central. It's your boy King Jeezy Hip Hop Central. Back at you another video, guys. Okay, guys, today we're going to talk about Kennsington. This is the mini documentary of Kennsington, documenting the history of how it became the biggest opioid drug market in the United States of America, guys. Let's begin. Okay, guys, in the early 1900s, Henry Ford, the founder of Ford Vehicles, created something very special, guys. So you got to understand, in the early 1900s, the demand for cars was going up. And Henry Ford, he needed to create something that was very innovative. So what he did was create an assembly line. And by creating an assembly line, he was able to get his cars produced a lot faster. And then after that, guys, a lot of companies, just different companies, not even car companies, they started, mimicking the same thing. And after that, guys, companies and factories everywhere, just start popping up everywhere in the United States, guys. And for these factories, they need workers. And I know what you guys are thinking, King Jeezy, what does this, how does this tie into Kennsington? Kennsington, before it became known for drugs and known for fentanyl and heroin, it was known for factories, guys. So Kennsington was a booming area for factories, guys. Seriously, the streets was clean, because everybody was working. Everybody was working at their factories, making the money for their families, guys. Seriously, it was nice. You see the trolleys riding by. You see the different clubs. You see the different stores, man. Like on Kensington Avenue, no store was closed, guys. Like seriously, nowadays you see most of the stores on Kennsington closed or shut down. But back in the day, it was marvelous, guys. You ain't see no stores shut down. You seen clean streets, fresh air. Seriously, guys, it was great, man. It was a great time, to be in Kensington, nice little area, man. But sadly, guys, the government would take their companies, because a lot of people worked in these factories, but sadly, a lot of these factories would be shut down because the United States, they started taking a lot of their companies to overseas, and after that, things started going downhill from there, guys. Okay, guys, from here we're going to talk about the 70s and 80s of Kensington. Yeah, guys, in the 70s and 80s, you started to see the demise of Kennsington, guys. See, in the 70s and 80s, a lot of factories started shutting down, guys. A lot of factories started shutting down. What you had in the United States, a lot of companies, started going overseas because the United States figured it's cheaper, to produce, things overseas than to pay the average American, a wage. So that's what started happening, guys. Factories started closing left and right. Because the companies are going overseas now, and what that led to, guys, was, a lot of people losing their jobs, losing their houses. And, when you're going through a very depressed time like this, guys, a lot of people, they turn to drugs, they turn to heroin, crack, whatever, guys, seriously. And that's what started happening. That's what started happening, in the 70s and 80s, man. A lot of people losing their jobs, started turning into drug addicts, guys, seriously, man, it's sad. And seriously, guys, like we had the 80s. The 80s, was a crazy time, man. In the 80s, damn near all the factories was closing down. And also we had Ronald Reagan. We had President Ronald Reagan, who was basically just shutting down a lot of unions. And, without the unions, a lot of these factory workers, they can't fight for their jobs. So they end up losing their jobs, guys, seriously. And also you had the crack era. The crack era was going, down heavy, in the 80s, man. So you add all that together, and what you got is basically the beginning of Kennsington, the genesis of Kennsington of, yeah, guys, you started seeing a lot of houses, started looking messed up. You started seeing a lot of trash in the streets. Kennsington wasn't looking how, I said in the beginning of the video, when it was nice, when you can walk around. Kennsington started looking messed up, guys. Because a lot of people started losing their jobs. A lot of people you lose your jobs, you lose your house, you can't pay your bills. So like I said, a lot of people, they started to turn to drugs, guys, seriously, man. And that's when things, started to get ugly, guys. Seriously, that's when Kensington, instead of being a flourishing area, nice little neighborhood you can walk down, man, no trash, no payments, it flipped, man, and became, a big drug area, man, a big area, where drugs are being sold, where kingpins come through and sell. Cause seriously, in the 80s, man, the 80s was the crack era, but Kensington, I'm gonna tell you how Kensington really became Kensington, man. That the 90s, bro, the 90s was the heroin era. That was the heroin era right there, guys. Like seriously, I mean, it was still crack being sold in the 90s. A lot of that shit being sold, but the 90s it started leaning towards more dope in the 90s, more heroin in the 90s, and Kensington being such a big area, you got a lot of people who lost their jobs. You got a lot of people start turning to drugs, and that's what happened. A lot of people started colliding with heroin, and and a lot of people, guys, like seriously, man, a lot of people would start, it was homeless because they didn't have no jobs, like seriously, so they just started turning to drugs, and you got a big area, a lot of people lost their jobs, and that's what a lot of people started turning to, guys, seriously, a lot of people started turning to drug addicts. It's sad, man, it's real sad. Okay, guys, we're going to talk about Kensington in the 2010s. Kensington in the 2010s, in my opinion, guys, is basically what it is today, man. It got worse, in my opinion. It got way worse than the 90s, the 2000s, the 80s. Like, it was at its peak. It was so bad that Delonte West, who used to play next to LeBron James, is rumored, guys, that he came down to Kensington to do heroin. Like, seriously, guys, like, it got way worse. And I'm going to tell you the reason why, it got worse, in my opinion. I think it's because of Percocets, man. I think, a lot of people was getting prescribed Percocets, and let's see, like in the 2010s, like a lot of doctors, they started prescribing Percocets and shit like that. And when you get introduced to Percocets, man, like you get addicted to that shit. And when you start taking them on a regular basis, your body, you start needing it, And the thing about Percocets cost a lot of money, guys. So what the point of spending a lot of money on Percocets where you can just get heroin or fentanyl? Fentanyl is not real dope, but it's stronger than heroin. So why mess with the Percocets where you can go get the fentanyl, go get the heroin? Seriously, man, that's another reason why Kensington became worse in the 2010s, guys, too, is because fentanyl. Seriously, fentanyl is not real dope. Seriously, it's not real dope. It's a synthetic opioid, guys, and that's what a lot of these fiends are putting in their veins. And I hear that fentanyl is stronger than heroin, and it's actually way more addictive. So I think that contributed to Kensington the way it look right now, man. A lot of homeless people. It look crazy right now. I'm gonna tell you, guys. I'm gonna tell you, man, like Kensington, like the last time I was down Kensington, guys, all I saw was just fiends, just everywhere. I saw more trash than pavement, guys. I was down there, I was like, yo, what is going on, man? Seriously, if you visit Kensington for the first time, you're gonna think in your head, like, yo, is this really a real place? Is this a real place? Like, wow, like look at all this suffering, man. Look